Hello everybody, my name is Jason, and I thought I would take a few minutes to talk about this new line of figures I've just gotten into called Joy Toy Dark Source Russian Federation. There's a bunch of different teams. There's a wolf team, there's a cyborg team. This one we have Spetsnaz, a bunch of cool little military type teams. And I picked up these over the past week. I've got 4 of them now. We have 3 of them from one team, 1 of them from another team. And just kind of want to go over some of the details, some of the things that come along with purchasing these. Number 1, when you open these figures right out of the box, you'll notice something different. All of the armor comes separate. The thigh pads, the wrist guards, the shin guards, the helmet. Some of them have backpacks. Lots of stuff to glue together. And I'll go and show you here on this sheet for one of them. Little diagram here. It tells you where everything goes. Now you can choose to customize it yourself however you feel like. You can put certain pouches in certain spots. They don't have to go exactly where they go. The armor should go where it tells you to go. And then here we have the belt, and you actually have to put those little brackets on the smaller items, the pouches, the grenades, I think it's a detonator there in the middle. And you actually have to glue that belt together, which can then be slipped on if you separate the torso from the legs. Slip that belt on, and he has a pretty cool looking belt. The glue you need to use, it recommends here on the back this 502 glue, and it recommends you apply it with an applicator. Now I did happen to have some of those laying around. I would say if you're going to buy these figures, get some of these types of applicators. It makes your job a lot easier putting all those small parts on. Now that glue, the 502, it contains a chemical called cyanoacrylate. I guess this is sort of like a model glue, and it actually helps out. I went ahead and purchased Loctite, and it contains that chemical. And this works very well. Initially, when I bought my first figure, this one here, I had some crazy glue on hand, and I used it, and it did not work out. So I would recommend following that direction as it says there on the sheet. Use that type of glue. Now, the first 3 I bought, the kneecaps were glued on, and the shin guards were there already, the straps for the thighs were there already, and the arms were there already. On this fellow, he was basically naked when I bought him, and opened him up, and I had to put everything on there. So if you're not into customizing or putting models together, you may become frustrated purchasing these types of figures. As a customizer, as a diorama builder, I don't really have much of a problem doing all that stuff. It's kind of fun. Now you will notice the size of these guys. They are a little short, I'm not going to lie. Wish they were a little tiny bit taller. You have him here next to a Zombie Lab figure, and he's basically looking up at the Zombie Lab figure. You have here a G.I. Joe. Typical modern G.I. Joe. And he is shorter. And then you have Acid Rain. And he is shorter than Acid Rain. Not by much. They actually kind of fit in there okay. If you were to pose them together, display them together, take shots together, they work okay with those guys. And as a side note, the heads actually fit on the pegs quite easily, no modification. So if you want to have an unmasked head for a display or photo, then it'll work. Now, the articulation to me on these guys is great. You have the head, which is on a ball peg. The neck is on a ball peg. Typical shoulders rotate up and down and all that. Elbows, bicep swivel. The wrists have a swivel and also rotation. This one moves up and down. The other one moves side to side. You can get some of those good gun poses. Some of those Zero Dark 30 going into a enemy hideout with your guns drawn kind of poses pretty well. Looks pretty cool. Torso is in two parts. Upper torso and then the bottom torso, both ball joints. The upper thigh there is a ball joint. We have a swivel on the thigh, double jointed knees, a ankle swivel, and then the ankle itself can also rock and also go up and down, and then there's a toe joint as well, which is pretty unique for that size. They do come with helmets, and I decided against displaying with the helmets. I really enjoy the face sculpts on these guys. That's one thing that really stands out to me, is how well these face sculpts look on camera. When you take a photography shot with those guys, they look almost real. I'm really enjoying having them for toy photos and display purposes, and I got a few more on the way. So for me, I really like these guys.